Hello, Mr. Beast here with a quick little look at what's going on in the league at the start of our playoffs for 2021 season. So I want to kind of talk about where I see all the teams and compare them back to what I thought at the beginning of the season where they were going to be, and then take a look at what the playoffs are going to look like, what in my eyes, as far as the final six, and see who is going to come out with this trophy in 2021. So first, let me talk about some of the teams that I was right on and wrong on, and I'll start with saying that I think I kind of had 8 of the teams in the right bracket at the beginning of the season, and 4 of them I kind of missed on. So I'll start by talking about the ones that I missed on, and I'll start with the 2 teams that I thought were going to do better but didn't do as well as I thought. 2 teams that I had in the playoffs and didn't get there. One is Johnny, and the Madden's Ultimate Team kind of fell apart. They had a superstar lineup. Some of it was injuries, some of it was guys just not performing where they could be. We talked about possible lack of depth in his team at the beginning of the year, and that's what showed up. And it really didn't pan out for him. He had to really scratch and claw to find a starting lineup some weeks, and just couldn't put up the points when he had the big injuries to some of his star players. So Johnny was a big miss. I thought he was going to have a chance to win it all this year, but didn't even make the playoffs. So that's one miss. This is the other miss, and a team that I really thought was going to make the playoffs this year was Heroes Dynasty Deserves. I thought they were strong enough to go and get another or get their first playoff bid, but that didn't pan out. And again, injuries and some tough losses made it so that they couldn't recover and get themselves to the playoffs. And you wonder what the Heroes Dynasty Deserves fans are starting to think after 8 years of no playoffs. Are they looking for a management change over there, or how's that going to go down? We'll see what happens here in the offseason. Now, 2 teams that that made the playoffs that I was wrong on. One was the Island of Misfit Toys. Obviously, everybody, you look at that roster, what he started with at the beginning of the year, what he was left with to start his campaign here in our great league, and it wasn't looking good. He's made some moves, put some things together, got some players that could put up points, and ended up there going 8-6, including a 6-game winning streak to get himself into the playoffs. So congratulations to Island Misfit Toys and Cody for doing a fine job in getting there. Obviously, I actually didn't have him last in the league. I had him 3rd from last. I still thought they were going to be better than Dynasty Champions and Mun Dynasty, but and that was right. But I never thought that there would be a playoff berth. So congratulations to him. The other team I was way off on was Koalas. I didn't like that Koalas roster. I thought he needed some more star power, but some players stepped up. I mean, Cooper Kupp and Justin Herbert, those guys are a couple of stars, and they are kind of leading his team into a very possible chance at a championship this year. So he pieced things together pretty well and got some performance. He even dealt with some injuries with running backs this season, and still managed to get through. So congratulations to the Koalas for exceeding my expectations. So those are the 2 teams. The other teams I thought I was kind of right on. The bottom 2 I thought were going to be the bottom 2. Other teams that missed the playoffs, Krispy Kremers and the Mike Vick in the Box. I had them in that bubble of they could make it to the playoffs, they could possibly fall out depending on how things went. And both situations, those guys were on the out. The 2 teams that I thought were also in that bubble that got into the playoffs were, well, Patrick was the main one. I didn't know if Patrick's team was going to put things together to get there, and it did. And it's on the strength of Matthew Stafford's season, and he's picked up some players like Deebo Samuel having a legit good fantasy season. And he made a couple of good moves to solidify that roster with Joe Mixon. And, well, he also picked up Matt Ryan, who's been up and down, but he secured a second quarterback spot. In any event, he's made himself into a team that has the potential to put up big scores and has become a legit contender. So those were two teams that, or a team that I thought was on that bubble, and they got in there. Rye Bread, I thought, would do what they did. They won enough. They were strong enough to get the wins. They didn't outscore everybody in the league, but they scored enough to get 10 wins on the season and get in there. My own team, I thought, was going to be good enough to win 9 or 10 games and make the playoffs, and it did. And I've shown the potential of putting up those 200-point weeks, and I've shown the potential of putting up the 115-point weeks. So kind of what I expected going through the season. And then there is another big-time contender that I thought was going to be a shot for the championship this year is, of course, the Green Machine. And Alex's roster was pretty solid. And if he got good performances and some of those players became stars like Jonathan Taylor, he was going to be pretty hard to beat. And I think that is the case. So we'll see how that all plays out going on. But I did pick him for the playoffs and picked him actually for making it to the championship game. So he is he's kind of in that spot that he could do it. Even though he's a 5 seed, he's going to be a tough out in this playoffs. So anyways, that's kind of where I thought about what have I thought about these teams coming into the season. And like I said, 8 I thought I was right on, 4 I was missed on, and that's how it goes. But let's talk about the playoffs as we go into these final 6. Congratulations to those teams. Let's start with the first matchup, Rye Bread and Green Machine, which I think is going to be a big matchup. Rye Bread showed, like last week, he could put up 200 points, and it can be a real threat going into this playoffs. So we'll see how that plays out, but I have to make a prediction. I'm going to say that the Green Machine is going to slow them down. Green Machine gets Jonathan Taylor back this week, and he's kind of got a lot of strength in all positions. And his recent acquisition, Leonard Fournette, just gives him another solid, flex spot, player that he can really do some damage. So I think it would be a big upset, not a big upset, but it would be an upset if Rye Bread could knock out that team. Alex's team would have to way underperform with the names that he is putting out there. And we'll see how that all goes down. But I'm going to predict that Green Machine beats Rye Bread this weekend. The other matchup, we have the Island Misfit Toys against Koalas, 2 teams that I did not think were going to make the playoffs this year, and here they are. And I have to go with the Koalas in this one. The Koalas, again, another team that's shown they can put up numbers when they have things going on. And they've got some a chance to do that again this weekend. I think they've just got too much firepower for the Misfits to handle. They would have to have a down week. Misfits would have to find some extra scoring from some other sources besides Dalvin Cook and Aaron Rodgers to outlast the Koalas. So I'm going to pick the Koalas and Green Machine for the 2 wins this weekend, which leaves us for the next round, which would match up the Koalas versus Mr. Beasts. And it is a matchup that I would legit just have to flip a coin to predict who would win. It would be a total let's see who performs on that week. We had a game earlier in the year that I won on like one of the last plays in the fourth quarter when Davante Adams made a catch to push me over the edge by half a point. I could see that kind of thing happening again, hopefully in my favor. But I could see up and down battle where it just matters completely who makes those catches in the last minutes of the Monday night game, and we'll see what happens. But I'm going to, if I have to make a prediction, I can't go against myself. I would have to say I'm going to win maybe by 1 or 2 points. So I'm going to put Mr. Beast in the Super Bowl. And the other matchup then would be a great matchup again with Patrick versus Alex. And two teams that can put up a lot of points. Two teams that I was a few weeks ago, that was my Super Bowl. And here they would be matching up in the playoff round in the semifinals. And again, I would have to look up and down the rosters. And I think it would be a very close one. And if I went with everybody performing the way they should, I just can't see that roster of Alex's getting beat. There can be days when things are down, when some of their players don't score. Tyreek Hill hasn't been on fire like he has. Stefon Diggs has had some down weeks. But it's hard to bet against guys like that. So I would have to say from top to bottom, Alex's roster is a slight bit better. And I would pick the Green Machine, which would leave Boydock Bowl 2. And unfortunately, Mr. Beast would have to turn over the trophy this year because I don't think, again, Alex's roster, if it does what it should do, is going to be able to be beat. But I could hope that somebody, has one of those down weeks and that Mr. Beast could be bringing home his 4th trophy, 3rd in a row. I would love that. But my pick this year for the Super Bowl is going to be Green Machine. So we'll see what happens. Every one of these teams that's in the playoffs has the possibility of putting up that 170, 180 week. Every one of these teams that's in the playoffs has that possibility of putting down that 130, 120 week. And that's what makes it really exciting because we could totally have, a reversal of what I was just saying. But I'm very excited for this Super Bowl or this playoff season, and we'll see how it goes. It all starts on Thursday night. Some big players play on that Thursday night game, and we'll see how everything gets going. So enjoy the weekend. Good luck to all the playoff participants, and have a great day.